A trip to the Great Smokies and its surrounding areas can be made all the better when the adventures and thrills you're seeking involve discovering some of the more mysterious, secretive, and not as well-known locations that reside amongst the area. If you're planning a trip to the Smoky Mountains soon and are looking for a little insight on some interesting locations you can set out to discover, here's 8 unusual things to see and do in or near the Smoky Mountains. Number 8. The Bat Creek Stone. An inscription found on a stone known as the Bat Creek Stone was excavated in 1889, taken from an undisturbed burial mound found in eastern Tennessee, a project that was commissioned by the Smithsonian Institute. Initially, the director of the archaeological project determined that the text found on the stone was based on the Cherokee Indian alphabet. However, later in the 1960s, it was discovered that when flipping the stone upside down, the inverted stone, lettering, and the diagonal line incorporated within the text appeared to be ancient Paleo-Hebrew text from around the 1st and 2nd century AD, and it read, "Only for Judea." Carbon-14 dating confirmed wooden fragments found with the inscription are from somewhere between 32 AD to 769 AD. Though a widely debated topic, with many fully discrediting the authenticity of the stone artifact's inscription, claiming it to be a forgery most likely executed by its finder, John W. Emmer. Others disagree and say, although some of the lettering could be deemed Cherokee, it actually is more aligned with the ancient Paleo-Hebrew text. Although, later in 2004, a Masonic reference book with a published date of 1870 revealed an almost identical inscription to the stone. This led to some now believing that the inscription is indeed real after all, due to the similarity. You can see the Bat Creek Stone inscription in person and discover a lot of the unique history of this mysterious finding in Cherokee, North Carolina at the Museum of the Cherokee. Number 7. The Fugitive Train Wreck. A 1993 Hollywood blockbuster film had a scene that took place on an old stretch of the Smoky Mountain Railroad in Sylva, North Carolina, which is roughly 50 miles from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. The film, The Fugitive, stars Harrison Ford, playing Richard Kimball, a man who was wrongly accused of killing his wife and then convicted of first-degree murder. The movie was filmed before the mass deployment of CGI-based films to create special effects shots. A scene was filmed using a real bus and a real freight train to create the special effect. As Kimball was being transported to death row, some other inmates attempted an escape, which sent the bus off-road and right into the path of a fast-approaching locomotive, leading to a massive collision and explosion. They only had one take to film the scene, with the impact being recorded live during the filming of the movie. The rusted and weathered remains from the wreckage of the train and bus can still be found and seen by visitors to the area today. The faded Illinois Southern logo on the side of the train still shows on one of the box carts that still rests right where that scene took place. Safely parking near the Jackson County Green Energy Park, the remains are found on the other side of Haywood Road, below the sloping shoulder and resting beside the railroad tracks. Number 6. Plane crash at WATERROCK Knob. Another unusual exploration also lies about 50 miles away from Gatlinburg in Sylva, North Carolina, at the doorstep of the Great Smokies. This is where the wreckage of a nearly 40-year-old plane disaster lies. This one, however, is not scripted and was a real-life tragedy. In 1983, pilot error and poor flight conditions brought down a Cessna 414A, killing both of the people on board the plane. The plane was flying from West Chicago to Jackson County Airport in the North Carolina mountains when it crashed. The pilot was known to have been drinking, which may have also led to the unfortunate accident. To hike to the wreckage, it's about 2.5 miles round trip. At its midpoint, you'll hike along an unmarked trail that is not maintained by the National Park Service, so venture at your own risk. One would begin the journey at WATERROCK Knob Visitor Center and then hiking to the top of WATERROCK Knob. At the top of WATERROCK Knob, don't miss the unmarked trail to the left that can be camouflaged by grass and growth. This trail is called the Plot Balsam Trail. A short sprint along it will reveal a sign posted on a tree with a distance locator to Browning Knob, which will finally take you near the wreckage of the plane. Upon reaching Browning Knob, you'll see another unmarked trail. Not far down this path is the wrecked plane debris. Number 5. MILLENNIUM Manor Castle. Situated in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, some early-day preppers, readying for the apocalypse detailed in the Book of Revelation, build a stone castle to safeguard them from the pending calamities detailed in the writings of the final book of the Bible. Known as the MILLENNIUM Manor Castle, an unbelievably mysterious dwelling appearing to be torn straight from the era of ancient medieval kingdoms. William Andrew Nicholson and his wife built the castle over the course of a decade, and it's found in Alcoa, Tennessee, about 30 miles from Pigeon Forge. Gray stone and a rather interesting pink stone were reportedly mined from a local quarry and used to construct the castle that finally completed construction in 1946. An amazing architectural feat was accomplished constructing MILLENNIUM Manor Castle, with its nearly 4-ton stone roof, 2-foot thick exterior and 19-inch thick interior walls, and floors that are over 4 feet thick. Other notable findings on the property is a 6-story deep water well and a stone perimeter wall that encloses the castle. Local folklore says Mr. Nicholson, the original owner, might be buried on the property somewhere, and his wife has been said to be resting within the walls of the castle. Number 4. Mount CAMMERER Fire Tower. If you like longer hikes with their fair share of strenuous challenge, then a 5.2-mile hike along Low Gap Trail and parts of the Appalachian Trail before reaching Mount CAMMERER Trail will lead you to an old fire tower at the top of the mountain. The intended usage of the tower was to be a lookout point to scan the mountainous areas for forest fires long ago. Nearly 2.9 miles of this hike are uphill until it reaches an intersection with the AT. Also, it's a 5.2-mile return hike too. In 1937, a group of men that were part of the Civilian Conservation Corps used large stones that were quarried from a nearby area to build the base of the tower, with a mason shaping each rock they used. This octagonal lookout tower at the top of Mount CAMMERER provides stunning 360-degree panoramic views of the Smoky Mountains. It is truly an unusual and intriguing historical watchtower to be found deep in the heart of the Smokies. While exploring here, hikers can climb up a rocky area to gain the perfect vantage point of the mountains by stepping onto the actual tower itself and then heading around its deck area for unobstructed views. The inside of the tower can also be entered and explored, sure to sweep you back in time to a place long ago upon entering. Number 3. The Biltmore Estate's Secret Passages. If you find yourself on the North Carolina side of the Great Smoky Mountains in Asheville, a day spent at the Biltmore Estate will allow you a chance to find the secretive rooms and passages that mysteriously blend in with their environment inside America's largest home. Built by George Washington Vanderbilt II, this home sends you back to the Gilded Age when George and his wife would invite a wide array of high society guests to their magnificent and equally mystifying mansion in the mountains. Inside Biltmore Estate, you can find cleverly hidden doors and passageways throughout the mansion. The billiard room masks a wooden door that can easily be overlooked with its framed portraits and nearby fireplace that help disguise its entry point. The door leads to what's known as the smoking room, a place where guests would gather for cigar smoking, sipping brandy, and private conversation. Another secret door is found in the breakfast room, incognito, with 2 paintings, as well as the exact design layout as its surrounding walls and its decorative molding to conceal the door. This door leads to the butler's pantry. Biltmore Estate's library also incorporates a couple different secretive hideouts. On the second floor of the library's balcony area are 2 doors that lead to a hidden hallway with guest rooms. Also, be on the lookout for St. Peter the Martyr on the walls, as it just might lead to another undisclosed room fit for reading a book or writing a journal. This door leads to the tiny room known as the Den. Biltmore has a number of other hidden rooms and passages, like a trap door, a hidden closet, and an off-site underground tunnel that leads to a winery. Number 2, the Road to Nowhere. Also found on the North Carolina side of the Great Smoky Mountains is a quarter-mile tunnel that is often referred to as the Road to Nowhere. So how did the area get the name? During World War II, the tallest dam in the eastern United States was built in 1941, Fontana Dam. People in that area had their properties bought out or moved away, but were eventually promised that a road would be built to allow them to travel to the lands that were sacred to their families who had lived there for many decades. After many long years, the road was barely built. The project was canceled due to environmental issues. Less than 7 miles of the road end at an eerie, worn and weathered tunnel in the middle of nowhere within the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, easily spotted by a sign stating, "Welcome to the Road to Nowhere." In number 1, TUCKALEECHEE Caverns. In 1931, opening to the public for the first time, early adventurers could head into towns in Tennessee to explore an underground cave. Closing due to the Great Depression and then reopening in 1953, this cavern is often called the greatest site under the Smokies. Estimated to be nearly 20 to 30 million years old, the cavern is intermixed with fascination, history, and interesting backstories. A crystal clear water system flows through the distance of the cave, which lies beneath ground known as Dry Area. Mesmerizing discoveries detailed by knowledgeable guides propel your journey throughout the cavern, where you'll discover the many wonders of Earth's underworld. Spectacular findings in the cavern include the Big Room, which is located in an area as large as a football field with its 150-foot natural ceiling and a slew of stalagmites that grow in the middle of the room, some reaching 24 feet upward from the ground towards the ceiling area. And near the end of the tour is an underground waterfall known as Sylva Falls. Its waters gracefully splash down nearly 210 feet in 2 separate tier sections. This 1.25-mile round-trip, mysterious underground adventure is something you won't soon forget and will be glad you experienced. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to like, share, comment, and consider subscribing to the Quest Capsule channel. And be on the lookout for more interesting video content, vlog documentaries, travel tips and reviews, and other videos we put out for all of our subscribers and viewers out there just like you.